everyone, and welcome back to At the Table with New Studio. In our last video, we tackled the issue on gender roles in modern day relationships. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. We'll leave a link down in the description below. My name is Shirley.
Adam.
Michelle.
Sheila.
Kila.
So typically we do our At the Table videos with just our colleagues, but today we have two special guests. These are our friends and they've so kindly accepted the invitation to join our video. And we also have our tiny xylophone, our trusted tiny xylophone. So in the event that things get heated or a little out of hand, I will just do that just to get things back in order because we want to have an open and safe, honest space for conversation. Without further ado, we'll go right into our topic for today. So today we are going to be talking about racism. Yeah. So it is an understandably sensitive issue, but I think it's good to talk about it. So it's good to just share our experiences and what we may have encountered and what we can learn from one another as well. So recently, this Bruneian YouTuber, he's called Shafi Hadim. So he recently just released a short film called Simpati.
Kalau batas ni Melayu pun boleh buat Oh, tu.
So without going too much into the story itself, so it deals with the way racism might be portrayed in Bruneian context. So specifically racism against Chinese. So that's one aspect of racism in Brunei. So, but I think it was done quite well. What do you guys think about the movie?
I felt like it was a real issue and that was quite accurate. Like it was quite spot on actually. Certain things that he mentioned in the movie.
Like what kind of things?
So like the way he says that Cina karet, you know.
Yeah.
The reason why, or the brother, is more racist towards Chinese ethnicity is because of the events that
occurred in the movie.
Yeah.
So
it was more of a personal agenda. Yeah, taking on to become something bigger.
Yeah. So if you've not watched the movie, we'll leave a link down in the description below as well. It's a really good movie. It's quite well done. So yeah, good job. Speaking about the movie and the racist encounters that happened in the movie, did you have like any similar experiences?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Especially coming from my perspective. So to be clear, I'm half Caucasian, half Malay. You know, the first thing people usually see when they meet me is that, I'm just a typical white guy. I think coming from an identity perspective, I don't consider myself as a white person, but more of a Malay person.
Do you feel like sometimes you have to prove that you're Malay?
In a bit, yeah. Because the conversation will revolve around like, oh, can you speak Malay? And then I said boleh lah. And then I'll try to continue that conversation in Malay. And then they'll still try to communicate back in English. No matter how many times I try to spin the conversation into a Malay conversation.
I'm just Chinese. For 1 year, when I was in secondary school, at first it was really subtle racism. And then it kind of like escalated. It was just like the way people would look at me, like really like give me the death stare for no reason. Like if I were to answer a question in class, and they're like, oh, well, you can hear like the mamas like they were saying, oh, she thinks she's all that and whatever. And I don't know what brought that on. Then it escalated to like physical bullying. I remember like if we're walking in a line, like girls would come up to me and like shove me into like the locker, like really like teen movie style. It actually
like
happened.
Mean Girls.
Yeah, like Mean Girls.
I did encounter that as well, but not in secondary. I encountered that in primary 4. There was one time where we were coming from the science lab. As we were walking, like the girl was like, and then and then she
That word.
Yeah, and then she's like, don't come near me, and then I'm like, what's your problem, Almost every day, like I would cry just because I was dark skinned, like not even talked to, in class, being excluded. I would say most painful because I was just a child,
Children can be evil things.
So sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I'm full on Malay. So dad's Malay, mom's Malay. I did have some experience in racism, but in my case, it was because I was studying abroad during primary school. We were in a Western country, so I was the only Asian kid. I kind of got a severe case of bullying. It was because I looked different. Because the first time around, it wasn't so bad, but when I went back to Brunei for summer, and I played outside, main basikal, chara, and I got tan.
You were under the sun.
I was under the sun a lot. I got tan. Went back, and the bullying just amped up. So I got shoved a lot into those code racks.
Yeah, girl, I
So I
get
got shoved. Yeah. So like when you said you were shoved in the locker, I was like, oh, flashbacks. So like I got kind of bullied there because I was the minority. I think it really depends on where you are.
Yeah.
We understand each other.
What are some of the common stereotypes that people have about your race? So we had about like
maths.
not being
Suck at it.
Janji Melayu. You're always 1 hour late.
But do you think that's true?
I kind of think it's true. I'm sorry, I'm Malay, but like sometimes I'm like, oh, we have to push it. Like we were gonna say we're gonna be at 2:30, but I'm just gonna come at 3 because like I know they're gonna be late.
So one of the experiences that my fiance experienced, background is that he's from KL and he's Indian, so he's darker than me, and yes, and I love him. But so this is one of the stereotypes that he went through is that when he's walking past cars, and then if there's a girl inside and she sees like rearview mirror, like, oh, Indian dude walking by quickly, she's like, lock the door.
Oh, you can hear?
Yeah,
Always lock your car door.
Lock.
So I guess
Okay, so like I've done that, but not just to the
I've
Indians.
done that too. When I was living in this Malay household, we rented a room downstairs. So like I would play with my owner's daughter, and then she's like, one day she was like, kau hitam pasal kau minum banyak minum. Then I was just like, huh?
I bet if she saw me, she'd be like, kau minum susu manis? Is racism in comedy an insult to you? Or like, do you find it like it's okay sometimes to laugh at it?
that's a good question.
Because I feel like that also breaks down the barriers
Yeah.
of the stereotypes, and at least you can accept it in a way, like it's just jokingly manner.
It's so derogatory, but then again, I guess the approach to racism can be very different.
Yeah,
Because it's true.
it's true.
To a certain extent,
Like
right?
Janji Melayu. Like Janji
Yeah,
Melayu.
like the whole family.
In the case that someone you know or someone around you says something racist, like what would your reaction be?
I would sometimes smile, just like smile, like I understand. But I wouldn't naturally like say like that's racist.
Right,
I wouldn't
yeah.
say that. Yeah. And also because growing up, like I felt that was actually okay. And only when I grew older that I realized like, oh, that was racist. Yeah.
I think for me it depends on who's doing the remarking. Because like I've learned that if it's the older generation, you should be careful how you tagore them in these cases, because sometimes they're like, what do you know? And I'm like, right. But if it's like younger or like someone that I think could like listen to me, then I'd probably like, that's not cool. Like, and then, but usually it doesn't take much to like tagore. It's just like, they have feelings, but that's not true. And you're like, that's true.
Yeah, so I think that's great to be able to have understanding for each other's views and perceptions when you can't seem to agree on something. I think we also need to understand that at the end of the day, race is not a choice. Like we don't get to choose like what race we're born.
Yeah, I want to be born in Caucasian. And he's like, no.
You don't need to fit in the mold of what other people think of you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we will most likely mess up. We will most likely be kind of racist ourselves. I think, I think we can admit that all of us are racist
A little bit.
if
not a lot.
to a certain extent at one point or another.
Yeah.
But what matters is that we own up to it and we move forward from that.
Yes.
So that's it for our conversation for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, go ahead and click like, subscribe. We will put like a button somewhere around here. So you
Here.
go ahead and click
On your
that
head.
on my
And something there, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. So feel free to let us know your experiences as well. We want to know your story. So go ahead and comment them down below and share them with us. And this has been episode 4 of At the Table with New Studio. And that's it. See you guys. Bye.
Be nice.